Recently I decided to change my workout plan from going to the gym more than going to wrestling and then grappling stuff. The reason why I did so is because mainly when I watch some videos about street fights or kind of any kind of fighting situation, I find out that it doesn't matter how muscular you are, you have to have a technique to do something in a kind of difficult situation, and in that situation wrestling and grappling is one of the first things that you will have to master. Of course, I'm not saying that this is the only thing you need in the street fight of things or not like that, but this is one of them. So that's why I decided to go to wrestling and then grappling at the same time. From my own personal experience, which I'm going there for almost 6 months, 7 months to the grappling, and then almost like 2 months, 3 months new in wrestling, I find out that it doesn't matter how muscular you are, if you don't have a technique, if you don't have special stamina, any kind of guy in the gym, any kind of the guy in the wrestling club will put you down, will pin you down, and he will overcome you. So that's what I learned there right now. And additionally, I learned that despite the fact that my chest might be stronger, my waist here is not strong enough still, which really put me in disadvantage when I go fighting situation, when I go wrestling situation, and then my opponent can not easily but still somehow makes it for my opponent, some of my opponent, easy to pin me down or to run away from my grip. So what I get from the wrestling is that it gives me a stamina, it gives me a kind of the mindset that you have to go first, you have to try first, and the rest of them will come after that, the rest of them will follow it. And I really feel in the beginning, sometimes I used to feel in the beginning to challenge opponent that I don't know, but nowadays I really feel comfortable with going any kind of opponent there and then put my strengths in test, put my courage in test. Another good side of going to wrestling is that I don't get punched, I don't get kicked so brutally, so that's why I don't have any fracture. But of course wrestling is also not something that you go without fracturing, without breaking, but it's less usual than the sports, explosive sports like boxing or kickboxing or different kind of MMA. And I don't want my face to be broken yet. That's why I decided to go to wrestling. And grappling is a little bit more brutal because every time I go grappling, it really hurts me a little bit, and especially my neck. If someone has guillotine you and then you try to run away from the guillotine and you are a little bit stubborn, run away from the arm grip, it really cause long-term pain. Not long-term, let's say at least 3 or 4 days you cannot sleep well, you are having a lot of discomfort walking, talking, changing your position in the bed, or just looking aside is very difficult for you. But yeah, it really increases stamina, it really increase your your willpower as well. And more you go into this kind of things, more you feel comfortable with going long for any kind of opponent. About bodybuilding through some kind of martial arts, especially wrestling and grappling, I don't think that my body is really growing bigger, like how it is noticeably while I go to wrestling. I wouldn't say that I have grown really big body through going to lifting. Probably I didn't have enough plan, I didn't eat well, or I didn't do the right technique, so that's why my body did not really change a lot during the almost like an 8 or 9 months I'm in gym and also wrestling and grappling. So this is the result that I got recently. Even so, I have even so, this is not so big deal. For the last 9 or 8 months, people are getting really high result. This is the result that I got for the 9 months or 8 months of wrestling, grappling, plus going to the gym. Yeah, but I'm really happy that I started and gradually becomes a kind of habit for me to do sport and to include the sport into my life, and I'm taking care of the sometimes eating. My biggest problem right now is that I cannot stop eating sugary stuff, refined food, especially like cookies, cakes, especially in the morning. I cannot get out without them, but I do my best. Recently I got, just like 2 or 3 days ago, I started supplementing with protein, which is okay for me to consume because it doesn't really cause any kind of side effects so far. So I'm happy with that protein that I'm using right now, but I don't want to give a name. I don't think that this video is still viral or some kind of watched by a lot of people, but it might. So yeah, maybe one day it will be seen by a lot of people. So it's okay, it really helps me. Yeah, and additionally, what this kind of special wrestling and grappling gives me, especially wrestling, because it's really hard drilling in the beginning and the end also, it gives me a kind of sheer amount of joy afterwards, because your body is going through explosive actions, and you go and grapple and then roll with the guys for a long time, and then you exhaust yourself so hard that when you finish this class you feel unexplainably happy. So nice. So that's why it really becomes addictive. I'm really happy that it gets better and I really enjoy it. And the more I enjoy it, more I become into that. Hopefully it will give me more results, and I will share it with you also.